The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm super excited to show you today the 3 simple steps to generate boatload of motivated seller leads from Craigslist without you doing any of the work or even actually spending a ton of money. Now, before we get started here, let me know that you can hear me clearly and you can see my screen. All right, cool. Awesome. Okay, I'm really pumped here. So, all right, why don't we dive right in? So, for those who don't know me yet, my name is Yasin Char, and here's my picture of me and my lovely wife on a breathtaking island in the Philippines, a beautiful country. And I specialize in generating motivated seller leads from Craigslist, and I have partners and clients in over, I don't know, more than 20 states across the U.S. Now, you might be here on the webinar today because, you might have limited funds and, you don't want to end up wasting it all on, expensive marketing that doesn't get really good results. Or maybe, your market is just, crawling with other investors and wholesalers, who are, scooping all your leads. Or, maybe you're just, having a hard time finding quality people to outsource your marketing to, or simply you may not, be getting the results you want from your Craigslist marketing, and, you're looking for a better system. And, if you're like most wholesalers and investors I come across, that's limiting your ability to generate seller leads and, put some properties under contract. Well, let me tell you that this is going to change after today's training, as, I'm going to show you how you can generate consistent flow of hot seller leads and fill up your pipeline with as many leads as you can handle. Big promise, I know. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight. Specifically, we're going to talk about how you can generate motivated seller leads from Craigslist on autopilot, how you can delegate and automate the whole process. And, we're going to do that by going through the 3 steps system that consistently delivers you leads without you doing any of the work or even spending a ton of money. And we're going to talk about the 3 must-haves you will need before you even start thinking about, doing Craigslist marketing. Now, you might be thinking, can I really generate leads from Craigslist without doing any work or even spending a ton of money? I know a lot of people are skeptic just because, they spend a ton of money on direct mail, banded signs, Google PPC and whatnot. But let me assure you that you can absolutely generate leads from Craigslist, but you need to do the right things, right? You need to know how to do it right, and that's what I'm going to show you on this training. Now, after sending out the survey last week, I understand that there are some concerns out there among wholesalers and investors on my list, that goes like, there's just, some people said, there's just too much competition on Craigslist. Or another thing that came up frequently, posting ads on Craigslist doesn't work. Or, the most common one that kept on coming up is that, I don't get any seller leads from Craigslist. In fact, all I can find on Craigslist are other wholesalers and investors, just like me. Well, I'm not going to say that those are not true. In fact, all of these concerns are true, but that's if you're doing the wrong things. However, that's going to change at the end of this training. So, I want you to know that at the end of today's training, you'll have an opportunity to work with me if you want me to help you generate a lot of leads from Craigslist and put it all, outsource your whole marketing system. And, I know I won't be working with everyone on this webinar today. However, whether we work together or you do it all on your own, you must have these 3 things. In order to succeed and get all the leads you want, you always need to be doing your marketing consistently, right? You have to be consistent in doing the marketing and staying on top of your leads. You'll be amazed by how many investors and wholesalers I come across who don't do their marketing on a consistent basis. They just wing it, right? And even those who do send out their marketing consistently, most of them don't take the time to follow up on the sellers in a timely manner. And as you may know, ideally you want to get on the phone with a seller within 30 minutes, right? As soon as the lead comes in. And the other thing is that in order for you to be successful in this business, you shouldn't be generating the leads yourself. You shouldn't be doing the marketing yourself. Now it's okay to hustle and do all the work yourself if you're just getting started in this business and you haven't closed on your first deal. But once you've dialed in the whole thing and you have the systems up and running, it's super important that you outsource the work and focus on getting on the phone with the sellers and making offers. Talking with sellers and making offers are the two highest leverage activities you can do when wholesaling or buying properties. And the more the more time you spend and focus on these two, the more money you're going to make. And the third thing, which is more about mastering your inner game, is that you must commit to not letting your self-doubt stop you from getting what you want. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, and he has this saying that succeeding in business is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics, right? 80% of your success depends on what's going on inside of your head, right? In today's world, really there aren't any secrets anymore on how to succeed, like wholesaling, flipping properties, or investing. There's absolutely no lack of information, right? There's a ton of information fact out there. There's overflow, but yet why do most people fail and live a mediocre life? Have you asked yourself that before? Take a couple of seconds here to reflect on this. That is something you really need to know to succeed. If you want to do all the deals you want, have all the money, all the respect you deserve, you need to be taking massive action and consistently, right? You need to have that growth mindset that will get you through all the challenges. Even though all the information and knowledge you need is available today, and there's a ton of book on Amazon. So if you just look up real estate wholesaling on Google, you'll get tens of thousands of search results. But at the end of the day, you have to put your time, right? You have to put time, energy, and sweat to get to where you need to be. And if you commit, right, today, if you commit to putting in action most of what you'll learn here on this training, believe me, you'll save yourself a lot of trial and error in trying to get Craigslist marketing to work for you. So let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm originally from Lebanon. It's a beautiful country in the Middle East. At least it used to be. And as you can see, it's absolutely breathtaking. However, since the war in 2006, back about 10 years ago, erupted with a neighboring country, things have not been the same since. We just kept on getting into more and more and more wars. And just so that you have an idea of how bad it was, at one point, literally we were only getting 6 hours of electricity. And at that time, I was wholesaling properties. I have my partner in Oklahoma City. I was handling all the marketing and the prospecting virtually, while he was doing all the acquisition and closing. I literally had only 6 hours of electricity, and we didn't have any government, or we did, but it's all corrupt, and run by the mobs, whatever. So we were, in survival of the fittest kind of situation. And thankfully, I've been able to get out of the country and, save my skin. And, now I'm back and forth between the U.S. and the Philippines with my beautiful wife. But before I got out of the country, on top of the war that was going on, my mom had cancer, right, which was, really hard. I was taking care of her every day. I had her stay in my own house. She went through chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and a lot of surgeries. And, her quality of life, totally degraded. And, after, 2-3 years, she lost the battle with cancer. And that got me to reflect big time on life and, what I was doing then. At that time, I had a high-paying job, but I hated it. However, I had to stick with my job so that, just so that I can pay the bills, right? The medical bills, which was huge. But there was always this entrepreneur in me, right, that wanted to break loose, right? I wanted to claim my own freedom. I wanted to be my own boss, right? But I just couldn't. I had to pay the bills. But after my mom passed away, I was like, hey, am I going to keep myself imprisoned in this, 9 to 5 job? There must be something more than this for me out there. And, really, after a couple of days after the funeral was over, I took a leap of faith, right? I said, heck with it. Life is short. Even if I'm going to struggle for a bit, I'm going to find a way and make it happen, right? Kind of, screw it, just do it mentality. And that's when I decided to go into business with my partner, who's in Oklahoma City, with my first partner, in fact. And, I married my marketing skills with his sales skills. And sure enough, we struck a partnership and we went down to business. And, if I want to be honest, the first couple of months, it was awful. The emotional high, the excitement of getting into business for myself, being my own boss, faded away the third month into it. I wasn't making any money. And, I couldn't keep up with paying my bills, and reality started, setting in. I wondered, what the heck did I get myself into? I still had little savings at that time, but that was going out real quick. So I was, pondering what to do now. I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5 job, but I just couldn't figure out how to make it happen. And, fortunately, that's when I met my first mentor, Joe McCall. And I know a lot of people here on this call know Joe, who helped us, build all our systems. And, he helped us cross the $100,000 mark in less than 9 months. Now, for some of you, $100,000, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. But for someone, at my stage back then, that was huge, right? And, then we continued on our own, me and my partner, and started scaling the business big time. And fast forward to, May 2014, we realized that we scaled so fast and we hired so many people and we were doing every kind of marketing under the sun, right? We were about to honestly go bankrupt. Now, we were making money, like, we were doing like $15,000 a month on average, but it all went out, for paying expenses and marketing. We weren't really making any profit. We weren't keeping any profit. So, we got to a point where we were either going to shut down the doors or we had to do a drastic change. And that's when I came across my second mentor, whose name is Ryan Levesque. And, Ryan is a well-established marketer and business consultant. He's not really into real estate. He's outside of the real estate market, but, he's someone who generated, over 3 million of leads in 20 or so different markets. And, Ryan, helped us get focused. First, we laid off most of our employees, which was brutal. And we kept only one employee out of 4. And, we had no choice, right? And, the first time we got on a call with my new mentor, and this is a great lesson, this is, a writer downer. He said that, whenever he goes into a business, he tries to find out what they do best and how they can double down on it. So what we did is we went on to reevaluate our whole marketing approach. And at that time, we were mailing absentee owners, probate lists, liens, putting out bandit signs, doing JVs, cold calling, Craigslist, you name it, we were doing it. We were all over the place. And this really spread us too thin. And, again, it got us almost, to bankruptcy, especially because the type of marketing we were doing was just like everyone else, right? We're sending out the same direct mail letters everyone was using. I signed up at that time to Chris Chico's, program, and I was using his system, and of course there are a ton of other wholesalers and investors using the same system. Or I was sending out the handwritten yellow letters, right? The ones you find in Facebook groups. And we were mailing the same list like everyone else, and we were putting out we buy houses signs like everyone else, right? So anyway, Ryan challenged us to figure out what's the one single marketing channel that if we focus on, we can generate enough leads to close on 2 to 3 deals, right? We only need 2 to 3 deals to keep, to keep it going, to keep our operations going a month. And we need to make at least 30 to 50% profit margins. And that's when we went back and pulled up all the data of the deals we've closed on over the 3 years we've been in business. And we started crunching some numbers, and here's in fact the exact Excel sheet where we pulled out all the data and plugged it into this Excel sheet. And we then identified which were the most and least profitable deals, and where did those deals came from, right? And can you guess from which channel our most profitable deals came from? Let me know in the chat box. What marketing channel do you think was the most profitable for us? Let's test your business intuition. Okay. Brandon is saying direct mail, bandit signs, Craigslist. All right, cool. So, we found out that, more than 50% of our most profitable deals from Craigslist, more than 50% of our most profitable deals came from Craigslist, right? And we did around 6,400 on average on a deal from Craigslist. And remember, Oklahoma is a Midwest market, so 6 deals, it's really great, right? Having a $6,000, $7,000 spread is awesome for a Midwest market. So no more expensive direct mail campaigns to probates. No more sending out yellow letters to absentee owners. And absolutely, we're not going to put out any more bandit signs and have the city police chasing us. And from now on, we decided that we're going to concentrate on getting all of our leads from Craigslist. So next, we went through all the deals we've done and tried to figure out, why did we make 10,000 and probably 15,000 some deals, while we made 3,000 on others from Craigslist, right? There was a huge range. And we were trying to figure out, what was the most common thread between all the profitable deals that we got from Craigslist. And, so here's what we found out. We were trying to 80-20 our marketing. So here's what we discovered about the deals that made us most money. The ideal sellers were those who were like relocating or like they were out of state, because they tend to be experiencing the most pain. They're in a time crunch. They just want to move. They want to move out of that property, and they don't want to keep on paying that second mortgage payment. And we found out that the most lucrative deals were when the seller had less than 30% equity. In most of the cases, we sold them on traditional wholesale. A lot of them were lease options. Some were even owner finance. And basically, they almost had no other choice for selling the property, and they couldn't list it with a realtor. They were married or in a relationship. The property was in the metro area in Oklahoma, and the property had at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, right? And the purchase price was at least in the $140,000 range, and the monthly rent was about $1,400. Now, can you see how powerful this can be? If you have this clarity over, what type of deals do you want to go after, right? The type of deals that will make you the most money. Imagine just how will that change your business, right? If you can just focus on those deals that make you the most money, for us at least, that changed everything for us. We now know exactly who we need to target in order to make at least $6,000 to $7,000 on every deal. And we can now tailor even our messaging to speak exactly to those type of sellers. Now, it might be different in your market, so you need to dig into your own data and do your own homework. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to help you out to walk you through how we did the analysis. But it's basic, basic math. Just plug in the numbers. Your revenue, the area, the house condition, the mortgage on the house, plug in all the data that has to do with the property, and you'll start seeing some patterns. And of course, you want to have, where did the deal originated from, which marketing channel. So anyway, now, this is all good and fancy to know all of this, but we still need to figure out, right, how much does it cost us to get a deal from Craigslist, right? We need to know our numbers. How many leads will it take us to to get a property under contract? Otherwise, all the work we've done doesn't matter. So after even further digging into our data, we had another big aha moment that changed it all for us. And the deals we got from Craigslist, we only had to pay $250 to acquire. Imagine $250 to make $6,000 to $7,000. While compared to direct mail at that time, we were paying about $1,100 to get a deal from direct mail, right? And the JV deals that we were doing, like we had to split the revenue, and there was very little money left on the table. So the cheapest deals to acquire came from Craigslist. And the awesome thing about doing Craigslist marketing is that my partner and I didn't actually do anything, right, to get those Craigslist leads. No work or hassle. We had a VA that does all the grind, right? We had a VA that goes in, get all the leads, contact them, and qualify them for us. And leads just kept on coming in. It's cheap, easy to outsource, and all we need to do is get on the phone with the sellers and close on the deals, right? Just imagine how awesome would it be for you, if you had to do nothing at all, and leads are just coming into your pipeline, right? And all you need to do is get on the phone, talk with the sellers, work out the numbers, and then put it under contract, right? We were stoked, right? So then that got us to a point where we don't have to worry anymore about getting leads. And since August 2014, I've been perfecting our Craigslist marketing system. And in December that year, in actually 2014, which is the worst month, right? Worst month of the year in real estate, we generated enough leads to bank over $24,000 in revenue, right? In August, we were almost, going bankrupt. In about 12 weeks, we turned around the whole business just by gaining clarity over, what marketing channel is working best for us, what type of leads do we need to go after, and how can we automate or outsource our whole marketing so that we can so that we spend our time on the highest leveraging activities, which is talking with sellers and closing deals. And I'm not showing you this to impress you, but really just to impress upon you that if you focus your time and energy on getting leads from Craigslist, there's a high probability that you'll also be banking fat checks, right? Especially after I reveal to you the exact system I use to generate those leads in a bit. And since then, I've partnered with over 15 investors and wholesalers all across the U.S., and I personally wholesale deals in over 5 markets. So so let's get into the meat of this training. The biggest marketing, in fact, problems I see in the marketplace, and why most wholesalers and investors struggle with getting leads from Craigslist is due to several reasons. First, everyone is copying everyone else. If you have ever listed your property on Craigslist, you absolutely, I can assure you that, you're getting at least, 10, wholesalers sending you the same exact message. They're all copying each other, and there's just nothing for them to stand out, right? And you can see that in the Facebook groups, right? People asking around for this yellow letter and that direct mail piece, and this list. Everyone basically is doing what everyone else is doing. Therefore, most wholesalers and investors are sending the same sales messages to the same sellers, and no one is standing out. So most of that one is money is wasted sending a Me Too message, which just at a minimum gets ignored, but most of the time. And another thing is that most people are not consistent in their marketing. And for example, they send a direct mail package one week, get a bunch of sellers calling in, and they start checking out the property, and then they completely drop the ball on their marketing, right? And more often than not, those leads that came in don't end up converting into contracts, and now they're back, to the starting point. They have no leads to follow up. Their pipeline is dry, and they need to wait another, 3-4 weeks to get new leads. And one big thing also is, I see a lot happening is that a lot of people major in minor things. And what do I mean by that? Most of wholesalers and investors are after the next shiny object, right? One day they're doing direct mail to absentees. Then they hear about these probate lists, right, being sold, and they jump on them. There's this new software that shows you how to whatever, right? And they jump on that. Then they read some random post in a real estate group about someone getting a deal from SEO, and then they start doing that. And this vicious cycle never ends, right? They keep jumping from one shiny object to the next one. They invest a lot of time and money dabbling with all the different type of marketing, and they never stick to one. They end up burying, at the end of the day, they end up burying themselves in, low money making activities rather than just focus on building just one system, at least at first, right? Focus on building just one system that works, and spend most of your time talking with sellers and making offers. And the only thing that will give you the freedom you want, whether it's, financial freedom or whatever you're looking for, is building the right systems, right, that gets consistent results day in, day out. Like the marketing system we're going to get into in just a sec. So you can spend most of your time on, the money-making activities, and, make the most out of your real estate business. Now, what I'm discussing here is not something, I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. Here's what Don and Bradstreet say about small businesses. Of the small businesses that fail, 90% fail due to the lack of skills and knowledge, right, on the part of the owner. And what does that mean? They have the wrong systems in place, right, or even probably none. And here's another one. Here's what SCORE and the U.S. Bank says about small businesses. 70% of small businesses failed, with a key factor being, the owner not recognizing, their weakness and not asking for help, right? Sometimes we're just so comfortable doing what we've always been doing, right? Even if it's not working for us, right? We seek that certainty, right? We're so uncomfortable doing something new just because we never know what's going to happen. And all I ask from you today, before we get into the meat of this training, don't be among the 70% of small businesses who fail. Be among the 30% of who make it. And I'm going to show you how, right? At least as it relates to getting leads. So the big question here before we dive, are you willing to change? Are you willing to stop doing the things that are no longer working for you? Let me know in the chat box. Give me a heck yeah. And let me know, are you willing to stop doing the things that are no longer working for you and start doing the things that will work? All right. Brandon, heck yeah. Ryan, heck yeah. Eddie's awesome. All right. Awesome. Derek, heck yeah. Awesome, Derek. Great to see you here. Okay, great. So, now I'm going to reveal to you the 3 steps, simple system that I've put together over the past 5-6 years that consistently delivers you motivated seller leads without you doing any of the work or even spending a ton of money. And the 3 parts is, there's the inbound marketing, or where the leads come to you or contact you in a sense. There's the outbound marketing piece where you go after the leads, and then there's the outsourcing piece of it. And we're going to dive into the specifics of each part. So let's get cracking now. Some of you may ask, like, why is inbound marketing important? And when I say inbound marketing, I'm talking about posting ads on Craigslist. Although only about 10% of your leads will come from inbound marketing or posting ads on Craigslist, but they're usually the most qualified, right? They are usually the people who are out there actively looking for a solution, right? They're on Craigslist looking for a solution to their problem. And to attract these qualified leads, you need to do two things, right? You need to make sure that you have the right kind of ads on Craigslist and that your ads are showing up at the right time, right? When your prospects are looking for it. So, and specifically, I'm going to show you how you can post 6 ads on Craigslist from the same account without getting ghosted, which most wholesalers and investors don't know how to do. Therefore, sellers rarely do see their ads. And I'm going to show you how to write a Craigslist ad that attracts the right kind of sellers and get them to take action. So let's dive right in. So here are the 5 simple steps on how to post ads on Craigslist without getting ghosted. Step number 1, you want to clear your browser cookies. When you post ads on Craigslist, Craigslist puts a cookie on your browser to track the number of ads you post. And if that cookie, and if you don't remove that cookie, Craigslist will identify that you've posted more than 3 ads, and they'll ghost those ads, right? So, and I advise you to use like a separate browser for posting your ads. I use, for instance, Microsoft, Internet Explorer. Since deleting cookies erases everything you have saved, like your passwords, all your history. So you want to use a separate browser for posting ads. So, remember, every time you're going to post or even renew an ad, not just posting, but renewing an ad, you have to clear your cookies. Next step, of course, you want to log into your account. Step number 3, you want to create the ad. And when creating ads, let's say, you're advertising for sellers, and you're posting the same ad over and over. You want to make sure that you're writing different variations of the ad title, right? The headline. So, for instance, if the title of your ad says, are you sick and tired of paying that second mortgage payment, right? You want to write down the second title as, aren't you fed up of paying, let's say, that second mortgage payment? It still has the same meaning, but you just, rephrase it, right? And why you want to do this? Because if you use the same title, Craigslist will recognize that and they'll ghost your ad. So, they don't want people posting the same ad over and over and over. And once you create your ad, and right before you publish it, you want to have a VPN. And you want to turn on your VPN. Now, what's a VPN? It's a software basically that changes your IP address. So, you're basically fooling Craigslist by having them think that, this is a different person posting a new ad, right, when you change your IP address. And, and if Craigslist finds out that the same person from the same PC and IP is posting from the same account over and over, they're going to take out your ads and shut down your account. So you kind of want to, fool the system into thinking that the ad is being posted from a different PC location and IP. And the VPN that we use is called Hide My Ass, like literally hidemyass.com. It's super cheap, and it's a very reliable software. And once you change your IP, you can go ahead and publish your ad. It usually takes about 15 minutes or so for your ad to show up. And we've been using this same exact system to post tens of ads on Craigslist every single day. And we also post our listings, buyer ads and whatnot. So, and here's an unannounced bonus. If you stick to the end, I'm going to give you a step-by-step video of this whole process. I've recorded my screen going through it all. So stick to the end. so you can get your hands on this bonus. And if you have any questions about this process, make sure to put them in the chat, and I'll get back to them. I'll circle back and answer them at the end. Um, Now, let me ask you this. Can you guess what's the secret sauce to getting your ads to like pull in seller leads? At the end of the day, it's how well you connect with your prospect, right? Any monkey can post an ad on Craigslist, but getting sellers to respond to it is a whole another ball game. Um, Now, of course, the art and science of writing good ads has filled library of books and courses, and I'm not going to pretend to teach you or to teach you all of it or even to know all of it. However, I can tell you how I'm getting eyeballs on my ads and sellers through the door, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. And I use a few guidelines when writing my Craigslist ads. And the most important one is that you don't want to sound like a pushy used car salesman, right? The harder you try to sell someone on something, the more uncomfortable they feel, and the more likely they're going to run to the hills, right? You definitely don't want to come off as a marketer or salesman on Craigslist, especially nowadays. Unfortunately, investors and wholesalers don't have a good reputation, right? Just because of all the spam that's going on. So, people on Craigslist are just selling to normal people, and, this makes it awesome for you because everyone blows off their ads on Craigslist, and now you have the chance to send out. So you don't want to have a screaming ad that says, we buy houses or whatever everyone else is doing, right? So, and what I do is I do the opposite of what everyone is doing. When I'm posting an ad, I ask myself, would this sound weird if I said it out loud to someone? And if the answer is yes, I cross it out and start again, right? It might take you a few tries, and that's okay. You want to sound like a normal human being, right? When you write your ad in a way that sounds like something a friend might say, like, are you still paying that second mortgage payment, right? See how natural it is. You never want to, you never say to a friend, I buy houses, right? Unless you want to come off as a weirdo. And here's another powerful tip. You usually want your headline to talk about your prospect's pain, right? That will catch their attention immediately. And let me give you a simple example. Think what relatives or parents say to someone who's still single, right? They might say something like, hey, Zach, do you have a girlfriend yet? What would a wife say to her jobless husband? Did you get a job yet? Or what your spouse might say about your real estate business. Are you making any money from this real estate business thing, right? So those are the kind of questions that just jab at that pain point and make you aware of it again. And that's what you want to do with your headline. We're going to grab their attention with a headline that addresses their pain point, and get them to click on your ad. And once you get them clicking on your ad, you want to suck them into the body copy and have them pick up the phone and call you. And all you need to do that is to get them to respond is simply tell them a story. Believe it or not, storytelling is one of the most powerful things you can do to make your argument so persuasive that it will get your sellers to call you, right? And you can weave it into your ad. And storytelling is one of the most powerful ways to communicate your message with persuasiveness and to connect with your prospect at a very deep level. And how you do that, I'm going to make it easy on you. I'm going to get you up to speed with a fill in the blank template from a master copywriter whose name is Kevin Rogers. If you go to his website, which is called 60 Second Sales Hook, and I'm going to type it into the chat box here. 60 seconds sales hook. And don't go there right now. Just go there after the webinar. You can you can grab this template he has on there, and it's totally free. You can crank out an ad in under 15 minutes. And one last tip before I move on to the next point. If you want to keep, you want to keep on testing over and over again, right? You want to keep testing different ads. Don't think your first crack at it will always be a home run. You want to test different variations, and how we test our ads and track them. We use a software called ColdRail, CALLRAIL.com. ColdRail. It's a tracking software where we track the number of phone calls that comes from a number. And this is exactly how I go about my inbound marketing and get sellers calling me off of my Craigslist ads. And all I ask you to do is put it in action. Even if you're just curious, I'd love to hear back from you on, the results that you might get. And, now, this strategy, remember, this strategy brings in only about 10% of our leads, but they're really motivated leads, ready to pull the trigger. Now, again, we don't rely too much on our inbound marketing to generate all the leads, because there's a whole another 90% I haven't told you about yet, which we'll cover right now. And the great thing about outbound marketing is that it's completely scalable, and you can blow it up as big as you want, or you can reach all the listings that are on Craigslist with your outbound marketing. You can reach all the sellers on Craigslist with your outbound marketing. And this is where things gets really fun. And this is all about going outbound and reaching out to sellers through email and text marketing, right? We're not doing any cold calling here. It's a complete waste of time, in my opinion. What we're going to do here is we're going to use text marketing and email marketing to reach out to sellers. And 90% of people that I come across don't know how to do that. All they do is posting ads. And specifically, here's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you how to target your seller leads like a sniper, we're going to talk about the advertising channel that gets 95% open rate, right? Imagine that if 95%, what would happen to your marketing or to your business if 90% of the marketing you send out gets opened and even responded to by the seller. And I'm going to show you also how to get every last drop of sellers on Craigslist. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So now there's a critical step before you start reaching out to sellers on Craigslist, which most wholesalers and investors get wrong and end up wasting a ton of time talking with the wrong sellers that don't convert. Remember when I told you how we found out who our ideal sellers were? We did this analysis. We analyzed all our deals. And this is exactly how you know who your ideal seller and so you can target them on Craigslist. And that information about who they are, what are their demographics, what are their motivations, gave us what we needed to hunt them down on Craigslist. We know exactly who we need to target on Craigslist. So just a quick recap on who we're targeting on Craigslist, and it might be different in your market, right? So you want to dig into your data and see what's working for you. In our case, in one of the markets we're in, which is Oklahoma City, they're either out of state or relocating. They have low equity, usually 30% or less. It's in the metro area. They're married or in a relationship. The sales price is at least $140,000. We don't work with it, at least in that market. We don't work with properties under 140,000 or under 1,400 in rent. And the properties should have at least 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And we only deal with single family residential and duplexes. We don't do condos. We don't do mobile houses. we focus on single family and duplexes. Um, so what we do now is we use this to narrow down on Craigslist using these filters. We set the minimum and maximum the minimum purchase price, the minimum rent, minimum bedrooms, bathrooms, the type of property, the area, and what we also do is we also want to weed out all the rest of the listings that don't fit that criteria. Like we don't want to scrape, we don't want to, contact realtors or property managers or even other wholesalers. And we do that mainly by putting in negative keywords. Negative keywords are the type of keywords that if you put in the search result on Craigslist, it takes out all the listings that you don't want. So if you don't want townhouses or townhomes, what you do is you put negative sign, then townhome, right? And here are the list, some of the keywords that we use that will help you weed out those negative listings. If you were one of those who said that, all I get from Craigslist are, wholesalers and investors. There are no there are no leads on Craigslist. Well, it's because your targeting sucks, right? You're not targeting the right people, and you're not using negative keywords to weed out low quality leads. Um, so, and I used to spin my tires, wasting my time talking to leads that weren't, what I was looking for, and it's, freaking energy, it drains your energy. But not anymore, because now, we pick out our ideal prospects like a sniper, and and we know who we're going after. Um, Now, if you think that, that's fine, generating some bad leads. Well, not really, because, let's crunch some numbers here to make a case for this. As entrepreneurs, time is the most valuable thing we have, right? And it's the only thing we can't make more of. So, imagine that, generating a lead from Craigslist takes about 15 minutes, right? To generate a lead and process a lead. So, that's 5-7 minutes to generate a lead and text them or email them, and that's about 5 to 10 minutes to get over the phone with them and set up an appointment to go inspect the property. That's about 15 minutes of your time, right? And if you end up generating 50 leads that aren't what you're looking for, that's about 12 hours of your time wasted every week, right? 12 hours. Imagine what you can do with 12 hours, and that's 12 working hours. So that counts for about 2 days worth of work. So you're wasting 2 days talking with the wrong leads, or just because your targeting is off and you're pulling and you're scraping the wrong listings. And there's also there's the opportunity cost of missing out on talking with the good leads, right? Just because you're so busy wasting your time with the low quality ones. So, save yourself the hassle, dig into your data, find who's the ideal seller, use the negative keywords, and, target them, target your leads properly. And, once you get your targeting dialed in, you can then start, contacting your leads. And, or I'm sorry, you can start scraping the leads, right? Once you put in your targeting and the negative keywords, now you want to scrape the information. And there are two ways you can scrape information from Craigslist. You can either scrape the leads manually, right? Literally going on Craigslist, having an Excel sheet, and manually getting all the information, the number, the address, the headline, all that stuff. Or you can use some software that is out there. But in my experience, most scrapers only work for a while until Craigslist figures out the trick and counter their tactics. Um, Craigslist don't like people scraping leads off of their platform just because of all these scams that happen out there. And every time a new software comes out and they're like, yeah, you can scrape leads automatically with a click of a button. Maybe it works for a month or two, but then Craigslist has literally has a team of engineers who all they do all day long is find out what new scrapers are out in the market, and they update their algorithm to counteract those scrapers. And if you go on Craigslist right now and you try to scrape more than 10 listings, you'll get this pop-up that will ask you, "Are you a robot?" Right? And there's a CAPTCHA. Now we've figured out ways to overcome these when we're manually scraping leads, but we don't use any scrapers, any softwares. In my experience, by far the most reliable way to get leads, to scrape leads, is to manually do it. And you don't have to do it yourself, right? That's why and we'll talk more about this. You want to have a VA that does all the grind for you. And there you have it. Here's a scalable way of targeting your leads on Craigslist and scraping them. And again, if you have any questions, I'm seeing some questions coming in. If you have any questions about the information I just covered, make sure to post them in the chat box, and I'll circle back to them at the end. All right. All right. Is this helpful, guys? Are you finding this information helpful to you? Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right, so let's move on. Now that we've spotted the sellers we want to target, it's time to reach out to them. Now let me ask you, can you guess which marketing medium has 95% success rate in getting your prospects to open your message? Take a guess. I'll tell you what it is in a moment. And it's something that applies to you as well, not just the sellers you're trying to contact. And if you walk around outside, you'll see just about everyone with their heads buried in their smartphones, right? Research by a PEW Center that came out in about probably last year. It shows that 70%, even over 70% of adults own a smartphone of some sort, right? And they open up 95% of the personal text messages they receive. I mean, imagine sending a text marketing to 100 leads, and 95% of them open up your message. How badass is that? Fortunately for you, text marketing is one of the least leveraged marketing channels out there, and you now have the opportunity to tap into it. Very few people I come across leverage text marketing to generate leads, even less in the real estate market. I mean, can you imagine that you have 90%, 95% chance that a sellers open up your message and reply to it? Compared to email, which is only about 27% in the real estate industry, or to even direct mail, right, which is almost about half of it. If you're killing it, you're getting 5% response on your direct mail. And if you're doing more than 5%, let's talk, because I haven't yet found someone who's doing purely direct mail, at least with the type of direct mail pieces out there, and that everyone is using. No one gets more than 5% response rate, unless you have you hire a copywriter and who writes a unique ad for you for like $5,000. So anyway, and that's where the bulk of our leads come from. So you'll want to pay close attention to what I'm going to say next. So when it comes to our text marketing system, there are two parts to this. The first part are the tools that we use, and the second part is about the messaging. I used to use Google Voice. To send out our text marketing. However, recently Google started blocking the messages we're sending out. Not really recently, about 6 months ago. And it turns out that Google is cranking down on people using Google Voice for marketing purposes. There are just too many spammers out there making our lives pain in the ass. And we quickly found out that whenever we were sending out 5, 6 same messages in under like half an hour, we were getting blocked. And mass messaging seems to have become against Google's terms of use. So we got shut down, and then that got us to start searching for an alternative, and we spent a lot of time testing different solutions, and we eventually settled on a paid text marketing tool where we can send unlimited messages from a local number for a monthly subscription, and we never get blocked. And what we do, when we contact those leads, what is important here is, you want to keep track of all the leads in an Excel sheet, or whatever system. We keep them in an Excel sheet, and we track how many text messages did we send a day, how many responded, how many converted, how many didn't convert or respond, and this helps us a lot when optimizing our marketing for better results. Which is a little bit too advanced to discuss on this training. I'll probably address it on another training. So that's for the tool side of things. Now let's get into the messaging part. Over the years, I have found out that most of wholesalers and investors in my market approach this medium the wrong way. And if you're currently marketing on Craigslist and you're not getting much results, like you're doing text marketing, chances are you're probably doing it wrong too. Wholesalers or investors who don't know what they're doing, they'll usually start the conversation by sending a text message that sounds like this. Hey, I'm interested in, I'm a wholesaler, or I'm an investor, and I'm interested in buying your house within the next 30 days. I close fast. Which is a big no-no, right? I mean, think of it as sending a message to a girl on Match.com, or to a guy on Match.com, right? You wouldn't start your first message with, when can I come over to your place and pick you up, right? Same thing applies here. You don't want to go for the offer on your first contact with the seller. You don't want to pitch the seller on your first message. And most sellers these days are really skeptical of investors and wholesalers. So if you're like you're coming across pushy and salesy in your first message, you're killing your chances of ever getting a response. You want to approach things like a normal buyer would, and we found out to work best. In fact, we were able to triple, and that's 300%. We're able to get an increase of 300% when we change our messaging strategy to this. So the way we open up our text message or the conversation over email or text message is something like, hey, seems like a nice house you have on Craigslist. Is it still available? Right? Just like a normal buyer would say, right? And your only goal from your first message is to get a response, right? That's all. Once you get that response, now you're in a conversation. You then want to start, soft qualifying the seller before you jump on the phone with them. Just get a feel where they are, what's up with their property, why they're selling, and get into a couple of back and forth messages with them before you go for the offer. You want to gauge their motivation and see where they're at, and you want to put yourself in a buyer mindset and not come across as desperate. Remember, they're the ones out looking for buyers and experiencing pain. You have leverage, right? So you want to close with something like, if for instance, if you're trying to get a lease option under contract, a closing statement would go like, would you rent your house for 2 years and then probably sell it, right? Just like that, right? Don't sound salesy. And that way you fly under the radar, and if you go ahead and try to send them something that sounds any bit salesy, their BS alarm will just go off and you'll lose the lead. And I guarantee you that 90% of wholesalers and investors doing Craigslist marketing the wrong way. That's why they give up. and think Craigslist doesn't work and drop thousands of dollars on direct mail and bandit signs and other things that don't get near the response that you can get from Craigslist. So if you just put some of what I'm sharing with you in action, I absolutely guarantee you that you'll get a better response. And last one thing before we move on, you always want to test different messaging and see what works best, right? Testing never ends. You can always come up with things you can improve on your marketing. Um, all right, so that's for the messaging part. So why don't we get into the other part of this presentation? How to get the most out of Craigslist. Now, as you may know, not all sellers list their numbers on Craigslist, right? Most of them, or at least some of them, they prefer to be contacted through email. And that's how you can catch the ones that don't have a number. Um, and your email strategy more or less is similar to your SMS strategy. However, there are a few different tactics you can do here, and here's one of the tactics we use that get us good results. Whenever we're sending emails, we make it look like we're sending it from an iPhone. So we include this short text at the bottom of the email, sent from my iPhone. Right now, why do we do that? Well, you want to make it look like as if you saw their property on the go and you happen to email them about it, right? Just like a normal buyer. It makes it more personalized, and you wouldn't think normally a salesman sending emails from his iPhone. Now you also want to have a system in place so it all runs smoothly and save you time. Doing email marketing takes a little bit more time than doing text marketing, just because you have to have a headline, you have to have the body copy. It takes a little bit more time. And one of the things we've done is think about and when doing not so here's the thing. Craigslist have control over the number of emails you can send, right? They don't give out the actual seller's email, right? Your email has to go through their system to reach the seller. And they usually, if they find out that you're sending more than 10 emails within, like, let's say, half an hour, they block all the rest of your emails. So what you want to do is you want to create 10 different email accounts. And if you use Gmail, you can sync them all together in one account. Just forward the emails to one account. And you can send out now 10 emails from every account, and that comes up to be, you can send out 100 emails a day from one account. And this keeps our VA from having to switch back and forth between accounts when sending out emails. And you also want to mix up the headline and the body copy. And we use a tool to shortcut this whole process. We have 20 different message or email message that we use, and we use a tool called yesware.com. I'll post it in the chat box here. Yesware.com. So what this enables us is you can organize all of your email templates and have hundreds of emails, ready to fire at a click of a button. And this saves us a ton of time when sending out emails. Yeah. So now having a marketing system that brings in, having a marketing system like a text marketing system and an email system that brings you leads from Craigslist consistently day in, day out is great, right? But if you're doing the marketing yourself, that's going to take you a lot of, time out of your day. So I have decided to include a bonus lesson today that is about how I went from having this business be really sucky in terms of time and effort and rewards to getting more money out of it, because I was able to free up my time and delegate, outsource the robotic, mundane, day-to-day hustle to a VA. And no one wants to get stuck spinning their wheels and feeling like they aren't getting anywhere. And I spent too much time doing that at first. When I was first doing all the marketing myself on Craigslist, I got to a point where I almost didn't want to do it anymore, honestly. Can you just imagine sending hundreds of emails every day and hundreds of text messages over and over and over for hours? I mean, it's super time consuming and it's very robotic, and it gets boring. And thank God we got a VA, because the rate we pay, we paid the VA more than paid for itself, and now we have more than 8 VAs working for us, generating leads in over 20 markets. And all that tedious work is done for pretty cheap. So now we get to focus on the parts that brings in the money, which is again talking with sellers and bringing in contracts. And of course, if you're starting out, maybe you'll do it yourself until you get your first deal. But I'm betting you're going to find it tiring, as I did, if you keep doing it for longer than that. So once you start doing your Craigslist marketing and you bring in your first deal, make sure that the first thing you do is get a VA. And remember, you can have a VA come as a part-time. You can negotiate whatever rate you feel comfortable paying. We've had it done for as low as 3 hours, $3 per hour. And for some VAs right now, because they're super experienced, they've been with us for like 2-3 years. For some of them, we pay them up to $6. But they get the results, right? They pay for themselves. And really, if it wasn't for them handling all the grunt work, I wouldn't be making nearly as many deals. So whatever I give them, it's more than justified in my thinking. And if you're bootstrapping, get some deals, and then you can afford a VA. Now, wow, we've covered a lot here so far. We still have some more valuable stuff to go over. So hang on a little bit here with me. It's been we've been jamming for an hour. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what do you what you do really need to do in order to generate consistent flow of leads from Craigslist, without doing any of the work or spending a ton of money. Some questions you might want to ponder, is, who's your ideal seller, right? How can you laser target those sellers? What tools do you use? How do you reach out to them? Should you, start with email? Should you start with SMS? Should you mix it up with cold calling? If you're sending out emails and texts, like what do you say in those messages, right? How do you weed out the tire kickers before you get over the phone with them? How can you get someone to do all the work for you? How can you get the leads without you doing the work? Or how do you find good people, and so forth? Now those are all important questions you need to answer. And this is something you don't need to worry about when we work together, because I'll be helping you throughout the process. Now, remember earlier when I told you how we could work together tonight? I told you about it briefly, but don't worry. I'm not going to make this a big sales pitch. In fact, if we're not done here yet, so there's more stuff that is really important I still want to share with you. So, but I want to first give you a special invitation to join me in my Craigslist Lead Machine program to help you implement your Craigslist marketing system. And I want to let you know that I'm only opening this up for 15 people at this time. And the reason why is because I only have time to work with 15 people this month in helping them implement my Craigslist marketing system. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'm going to put in the link in the chat box, so you can go over there and sign up. Let me put it here. All right. Put it here. Let me grab the link for you. Here we go. All right. So let me open up the slides again. All right, cool. So here's what you get when you join me today. Um, you'll get access to all the procedure documents and checklists you need to systematize and outsource your marketing. I have literally documented each and every step of this process in each and every step in this process, and I walk you step by step through it. So all you need to do is read through the documents that I have to implement your system. One of the things that I excel at is that whenever I implement a system, I document it. So I have about 6 documents and checklists you can grab to start implementing the system. Now, on top of the documents that I provide you, there are video tutorials, right? I've recorded video tutorials and I made sure to make it um, as short as possible. I don't have more than the videos that I have are less than 9 minutes, so I made sure to keep it short so you can implement as fast as possible. I've had people implement the system within literally 48 hours of getting into the program. So there are about like 4 or 5 videos, and each video is about 5 to 9 minutes, and you can literally start implementing the system today. So on top of that, because I'm going to be invested in your success, at some point we might end up doing deals together in your market. So I want to make sure you have the most success with this program. So I'm going to offer you 30 days email coaching. And I know some of you may think like crazy, right? Over the next 30 days, you can email me literally any question about the system, and I'll get back with you within 48 hours and answer any questions that you have about implementing the system. If you got stuck, I've made it super easy with the procedure documents and the video tutorials. But I'm going to take one step further and offer you 30 days email coaching. So if you have any questions, you can just shoot me an email. And for those of you who we've already connected over email, you know how responsive I am. And on top of that, I'm going to invite you to my private Facebook group, where you're going to get an ongoing access to my private Facebook group, where you'll connect and mastermind with other investors and wholesalers implementing my Craigslist marketing system. And you'll see a lot of success stories in there, and other members can share their experience going through the program. And I'm not even going to stop there. On top of that, I'm going to throw in 2 bonuses. The first bonus is, if you don't have a CRM system where you track all of your leads, I'm going to set up a CRM system for you in Podio to manage your leads. So you make sure that there are no leads falling through the cracks. And the second bonus I'm going to throw in is a 30 minutes marketing consultation. I charge about $600 for a 1 hour of consultation. And I'm going to offer you a 30-minute consultation after you implement the system. So when you sign up, you go through the procedure documents, you go through the tutorial, and you plug it in, and you start generating leads. We're going to get on a 30-minute call where I'm going to review your system and tune it up together so you can get even more leads out of your system. And really, and here's my promise to you. If you follow my directions and implement the system, and you send at least 100 text messages and you don't start getting leads, I'll refund you 100% of your fee, right? you'll have 60 days to test drive the program. And that's how confident I am with my system. It's simple to implement and it works. And you can literally start generating leads within 2 days if you set aside 5 to 6 hours to implement it. And the best of all of this, you might be thinking, oh, what is the price of signing up to this program? I've already spent a ton of money on on coaching programs, and I don't want to waste any more money. Well, the best of all is you can get this for just $97. One payment of $97, and I'm going to take the usual price is $149, but I'm going to take off $50 off of the regular price to make it a dead simple decision for you to sign up. All you need to do is click on the link in the chat box, and you're going to be redirected to a PayPal form that you just need to fill out. And as soon as you process your payment, you'll be redirected to a page where you'll put your name and email to get access to all the content. And I'll follow up with you to set up our 30-minute marketing consultation. And again, I'm not able to work with everyone on this call. We have over 80 people on this call. I have only enough time this month to work with 15 people. And I want to be super focused on helping you implement this system and start generating consistent flow of seller leads without you doing any of the work or spending a ton of money. And when you sign up, I'll help you laser target leads that are most motivated and have a high probability to convert. I'll show you how to contact them through text messaging and weed out low quality seller leads before you get on the phone with them. And once you dial in the system, I'm going to show you how to outsource your whole Craigslist marketing system for $3 to $4 an hour to a VA in the Philippines. And that way you get leads every single day without lifting a single finger. So, leads keep coming in spite of whether you work or you don't. And, that's all for now. I don't want to make this turn this into a sales pitch. We're running out of time. And there's more stuff I want to teach you about generating seller leads from Craigslist. And for you to successfully generate boatload of leads from Craigslist on autopilot, you need to know these three must success principles. And principle number one is you have to find a model that works. Going through trial and error is not the way to go about this. If you have a lot of time to figure everything out yourself, be my guest. But let me tell you this. The shortest way to success is finding someone or modeling someone who already achieved your goal and follow their footsteps, right? That will shortcut your learning curve big time. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. That's why there are coaches, right? That's why Michael Jordan had a coach. Even though he was the best NBA player alive, he still had a coach, right? Because when you're in the game, you can't see everything, right? You can't see the trees from the forest, right? So you want to have someone who's been there, done that, to walk you through the process. And principle number two is Occam's razor. And what Occam's razors is, the simplest path is often the best, right? So always keep it simple. We humans, usually tend to overcomplicate things, or we falsely assume that if something is not that complex, it doesn't work well. Well, guess what? The most sophisticated things are often the simplest. Look at the iPhone, right? It has one button, right? How much simpler can it get, right? And the iPhone is probably one of the most successful smartphones out there. And the power of it is in its simplicity. So keep things simple. And the third principle is that you have to take this seriously. You can't do it one day and stop doing it the next. If you want results, the key to it is consistency. the more consistent you are in marketing and making it happen, the more results you're going to see. You have to stay at it. Don't dabble. Be a master of your craft. So, there are a lot, again, there are a lot of people on the webinar now, and I can only work with 15 of you at this time. And, I'm aware there's a huge problem out there with generating consistent flow of leads, and it's only going to get worse, but it doesn't have to be that way. Here's again what you're going to get when you join today. I'm going to give you over about 6 procedure documents and checklists where I have documented the whole system. You'll get access to all the procedure documents and checklists. You need to do. You need to systematize and outsource your marketing. You'll also get access to the video tutorials where I'll walk you step by step through implementing the system. And again, these videos are intentionally short to get you to take action fast. Also, I'm going to throw in a 30 days email coaching where you can email me any question you have about the system, and I'll respond back to you within 48 hours. I'm also going to give you ongoing access for free to my private Facebook group where you can connect and mastermind with other investors and wholesalers implementing this exact system. And on top of that, I'm going to throw in 2 bonuses. I'm going to help you set up Podio CRM. If you don't have a CRM, I'm going to set up one for you so you can track your leads and you don't leave any lead behind. And I'm going to also throw in a 30-minute marketing consultation. After you implement the Craigslist marketing system, we'll get on a 30-minute consultation with me to review and optimize your whole marketing system. And I normally charge over $500 for a 60-minute call, but you'll get to get this for free when you sign up. In fact, I'm now charging $600, not $500. So I'll show you how to find and generate all the leads you need. I'll show you how to free up your time so you can focus on talking with sellers and closing deals. I'll show you how to get the leads that you need to turn into deals and make the money you're looking for. And you'll never have to worry about where your next lead is going to come from, right? And this is something you don't need to spend a ton of money on to get it working. You can literally, do it yourself and spend $0 on Craigslist marketing, and you can start generating leads. Again, here's my promise to you. If you follow my directions and implement the system, and you send out at least 100 text messages and you don't get any leads, I'll refund 100% of your fee. I'm not interested in your money if my system doesn't work for you, because honestly, I don't make any money out of this course. My end goal is to partner up with wholesalers and investors across the US, across different markets, so I can expand my operations and do more deals. That's the end goal of this system, and this is a good way for us to get started. And again, the best of all, you get this for just one payment of $97. I'm going to take off 50% off of the regular price to make it that simple, easy for you to decide. And again, to sign up, head over to the link I posted in the chat box. You'll get redirected to a PayPal page. You'll fill out your information, then you'll be redirected to a page where you put in your name and email, and you'll get and you'll receive access to the content. And then I'll follow up with you to set up our marketing consultation. So if there's any question, I know we're out of time. I want to respect your time here. I've went 30 minutes over time. I was so excited. So what I'm going to do, all the questions that were asked during the webinar, I'm going to send out an email answering each and every one of those. So stay tuned for my emails today and in the next couple of days. and I'm going to answer each and every question that came in. And I want to say thank you so much, guys, for coming on this call. And I'm looking forward to start working with you and help you implement your Craigslist marketing system. Have a great day.